This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Good Wednesday morning. Time now is 4:27. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. We are tracking breaking news from overnight. A teenager is in critical condition after he was shot around 11:30 last night.
Yeah, this all unfolded on the south side on South Talbot Street. Police say that teen was shot. Someone shot through a house and hit the teen, who is now in extremely critical condition. That young man is fighting for his life. Unfortunately, there is no suspect info at this time. Police, though, asking if anyone saw or heard anything at the time of this shooting around 11:30 last night, that they reach out to police.
Another story we are following this morning on Good Morning Indiana. A lawsuit has been filed after a crash that happened downtown that claimed the life of 2 people, and this lawsuit is against Tesla.
Yeah, so this crash happened in 2016, took the lives of Kevin McCarthy and Casey Speakman. Kevin McCarthy's wife or widow is now filing this lawsuit against Tesla, saying that an acceleration defect led to the crash, and they are also putting blame on Tesla for McCarthy not being able to get out of the car. So this is a story we will be closely following here. But first, we want to get a check at the weather with Alyssa Donovan. Yesterday was a gorgeous day. Are we going to see a repeat today?
So we are in luck for mostly a nice day, and most of us will see a nice day. We're going to see those temperatures climbing back into the mid-80s. It is going to be a little humid out there. However, we do have just a small chance of an isolated shower or storm as we hit the afternoon. That is mostly going to be chances right around those northern counties and into the eastern part of the state. So there's a good chance you won't even see that at your house. This is going to be isolated if we do see that. High pressure is in control today, and that's what we're going to see. Those temperatures starting warm this morning in the 60s, and we're climbing into the mid-80s, and we're going to continue this pattern over the next couple days, where we see mostly a really nice day and just a small chance of an isolated shower or 2 in the afternoon.
Okay, good to know, Alyssa. Thank you. And finally, our Erin Lish is looking into an interesting story about the dangers of sepsis. It is a life-threatening condition, often misdiagnosed. She's going to speak with one woman who says her husband was misdiagnosed, and that woman believes her husband would still be alive if it weren't for that misdiagnosis. So we're going to talk about the dangers, the warning signs, what you should know if you believe you have a family member who might actually be battling sepsis and not something else. So we'll talk to that widow, and Erin Lish will have all that important information. We've also got plenty of news, weather, and traffic here to kick off your midweek right now on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
18 rushed to the hospital following a shooting on the south side. Breaking now at 4:30, we're learning what led up to the gunfire.
Plus, the Department of Child Services and the governor are at the center of a new lawsuit this morning. Why foster children say the state is failing them.
And dozens of birds confiscated in connection to an animal fighting ring. New this morning, we're learning more about the charges those involved now face. Thanks for starting your morning with us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Elena Martella keeping an eye on the roadways this morning. And we want to welcome back Alyssa Donovan. You have a great forecast for us. More sunshine.
Yes, more sunshine. That is the good news. We do have a few little bumps in the road there, some chances of showers and storms. But if we do see those, it's going to be isolated. So there's a good chance that you are going to see sunshine throughout your day. So
love it.
That's the good news. Right now, temperatures are in the 60s. 67 in Indianapolis, 73 right now in Muncie. So a warm start. You might notice it's a little humid out there. That humidity is going to kick up as we head into the afternoon a little bit as well. So we have high pressure in control today. We did have a disturbance move through yesterday. That just brought us a few isolated showers. For the most part, we were dry, though. That was late in the evening. And then we are going to continue to see mostly sunny skies today. As we head into the afternoon, we are going to see just a quick disturbance move through. So we're mostly going to see that sunshine, maybe a little bit more cloud coverage later in the day, and then maybe a spot shower or an isolated storm as we head into the afternoon and early evening. Again, most of that is going to be around those northern counties later today. Only looking at a marginal risk of severe weather with that. Today, for most of us, starting in the 60s and low 70s, then we'll climb into the mid-80s this afternoon.
All right, thank you, Alyssa. The good news, no crashes out there on our map right now, but we do have a lot of overnight roadwork projects. So one of those southbound I I-69 ramp to westbound 465 is closed. To get around it, take that exit at 82nd Street, turn left to go southbound on Allisonville Road, and then enter into westbound 465 via Allisonville Road. I'll let you know when it opens back up. The hope is before your morning rush. So let's take a look at this area on our live in.traffic camera. You can see this ramp is blocked to get out onto the westbound 465. And you can also see at the same time that right lane is blocked. So traffic is only moving through in these left 2 lanes. So just keep that in mind if you are heading out the door right now. Let's take a turn over to the Boone County area for another project. So it looks like that northbound I-65 ramp to Whitestown Parkway is closed. I'm a little confused because it was supposed to be the southbound ramp, but ISP dispatch did confirm that it is the northbound ramp that's closed during this time frame. So don't be caught off guard. You're just going to want to pay attention to that this morning.
Elena, thank you. Breaking overnight, a teen rushed to the hospital following a shooting on the city's south side. The shooting happened around 11:30 last night in the 1700 block of South Talbot Street. That's near Meridian, just north of Raymond Street. IMPD tells us someone shot through the house and hit the teen. He was taken to the hospital in extremely critical condition. This morning, there is no word on a search for a suspect. And it has been a violent 24 hours in the Circle City. You see most of the recent string of shootings plotted out on this map. The latest round of violence has claimed 1 life and left 3 people injured. We will update you with any new information on these cases as soon as we learn more.
Also breaking overnight, the U.S. military says 2 service members have died in Afghanistan. Details surrounding their deaths have not been released. The military says the killings happened just 1 day after a quick visit from U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. The identity of the soldiers killed will not be released until their families are notified. New this morning, 2 people are in the Owen County Jail on allegations of animal neglect and bird finding. The arrest followed tips from concerned neighbors about a home belonging to Jeffrey Pierce and Kristen Hammond. During the search, police found several birds. The Owen County Humane Society says some of the birds were dubbed. That's a process where the bird's combs, wattles, and earlobes are removed for finding. The Humane Society says they removed nearly 60 birds from the home. Deputies say Pierce and Hammond face drug and animal fighting charges.
Failing to protect foster children with disabilities. That's the accusation the state of Indiana is now facing in a new class action lawsuit. 9 foster children with disabilities filed the suit on behalf of the 22,000 children in the state's child welfare system. They claim foster kids suffer in the system while the Department of Child Services fails to provide critical services. Attorneys hope the suit leads to big changes within the department.
We have 1 young girl who was in a state psychiatric hospital, and she had to stay there for months after she had reached her maximum treatment benefit because DCS failed to find a proper placement for her. So we have a child who's living in a psych hospital who doesn't need to be there.
We're hoping with this litigation that it's an opportunity to finally hold DCS accountable and say, it's time. You guys really need to start making the changes that need to be made to fundamentally change how we are going to help protect these children.
The class action lawsuit does not seek monetary damages. DCS will not comment on pending litigation.
We're hearing from the families of Abby Williams and Libby German as they race to raise $50,000 for a memorial park.
A living legacy really is one of the best ways to describe it. All the things that the girls enjoy doing will all be here for us.
We told you last week if organizers raise $50,000 by August 14th, they can get a matching grant from the state. The park will honor the legacies of Abby and Libby. It has been more than 2 years since the girls were killed on a trail in Delphi. The project will include softball fields, playgrounds, picnic shelters, and an amphitheater.
It really is a community-minded project here. This crowdfunding is specifically geared towards the amphitheater, which is going to be one of the signature pieces out here. It's going to allow, for the, high school kids to come out and play, have concerts, bands, any other kind of activities that you want to have underneath this.
For information on how to make a donation, go to the RTV6 app and click on this story. The search for Abby and Libby's killer continues this morning. Police believe this is the man who killed the girls on the Monon High Bridge back in February of 2017. If you know who he is or how he may be connected to Delphi, call or email in a tip. That phone number and email address is on your screen right now. We also have all this information posted on the IndyChannel.com.
General Motors says it's investing more than $4 billion in manufacturing facilities across the country, including here in Indiana. The company says it's increasing capacity, improving operating efficiencies, and making other upgrades at plants in Fort Wayne, Flint, Michigan, and Arlington, Texas. The Fort Wayne plant currently builds the Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra. The upgrades come ahead of the company's next generation of trucks and SUVs. In May, General Motors CEO Mary Barra announced a $24 million investment in the Northern Indiana plant.
Hiring Hoosiers is an RTV6 initiative connecting you to jobs, training, education, and resources. A job fair will be held today in Brownsburg for a facility opening next month. Radial handles ordering and shipping for retailers. Its new fulfillment center will be on East 56th Street. The company plans to start with around 150 employees and add hundreds more by peak retail season. The job fair goes from 10 to 2 at the Hampton Inn on Maplehurst Drive. For more information, go to hiringhoosiers.com.
A reminder, Shark Tank is coming to Indianapolis. You can pitch your idea to producers at an open call on July 16th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Doors open at 6 a.m. For more information, head to theindychannel.com.
Are you worried about your trip to the Dominican Republic? Straight ahead, how airlines are helping fearful travelers change their plans.
Plus, call it speed dating for voters. We're previewing the first of 2 Democratic debates that get underway tonight in Miami. Alyssa.
And we have a warm day on tap. Temperatures climbing into the mid-80s. A small chance of an isolated shower or storm. And then we are starting a warming trend that goes right into the weekend. I'll break down the details coming up.
Models, now with the People First warranty.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now for 41. Here's a look at 465 at I-69, and you can see there's a ramp closure underway. I'll show you how to get around the closure coming up in the next few minutes.
Elena, thank you. Happening today, singer R. Kelly is scheduled to appear in court to face charges of aggravated criminal sex abuse involving 4 victims. At least 3 victims are between the ages of 13 and 17. Earlier this month, Kelly pleaded not guilty to nearly a dozen counts of sex-related felonies. He was already facing 10 counts.
Today, the House Oversight Committee will consider issuing a subpoena for counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway. The White House Monday said it wouldn't allow Conway to appear before the committee. Lawmakers are looking into allegations Conway repeatedly violated a federal law limiting political activity by government workers.
The U.S. Supreme Court will release decisions this morning with 8 cases still outstanding before the term ends. One of the big decisions still looming is whether the Trump administration can add a citizenship question to the 2020 census. The ACLU is pushing justices to delay release of their opinion. On the Democracy 2020 front, the first of 2 Democratic debates begins tonight in Miami.
20 candidates on stage vying for the nation's attention and the Democratic nomination. ABC's Lana Zach is in Miami with what you can expect on night 1.
The race for the White House kicks off in a big way today.
The eyes of the political world will be upon them in Miami for at least a night or 2.
20 Democratic candidates qualifying for the first debate split over 2 nights. The Democratic National Committee says the number of candidates facing off is unprecedented. And unlike other years, the DNC claims there's no so-called kids table, with second-tier candidates relegated to a lesser debate. Facing off tonight, Elizabeth Warren in center stage.
Our government is supposed to reflect our values. Our government is supposed to keep us safe.
Her campaign poll numbers steadily moving up in recent weeks.
She has a chance to dominate.
To her right, Cory Booker making headlines recently for his split with former Vice President Joe Biden over remarks about working with segregationists in the past. Another big name in the mix tonight, Beto O'Rourke, who opens strong with big fundraising numbers but hasn't seen much upward movement in polls lately.
It's going to be tough, right? We've got 60 seconds to respond to some of the biggest questions that are on the minds of the American people right now.
They'll be sharing the stage with 7 other Democrats Democrats: Bill de Blasio, Tim Ryan, Julian Castro, Amy Klobuchar, Tulsi Gabbard, Jay Inslee, and John Delaney. Lesser known on the national stage, they'll be trying to make a name for themselves tonight, and every second will count.
They're going to have to come up with something that is memorable, short, and sweet, because if they don't, they're going to get lost in the clutter.
Lana Zach, ABC News, Miami.
Time now is 4:44. Delta Airlines is allowing some passengers to get out of their booked trips to the Dominican Republic. The company says it will give waivers to passengers who have a ticket to Punta Cana. That's where at least 10 American tourists have died within the last year, but the causes are not entirely clear. Delta passengers must rebook their travel to the Dominican Republic prior to November 20th or get credit to fly somewhere else. American, JetBlue, and Sun Country Airlines say they will also work with their passengers who want to change or cancel Dominican flights. Well, speaking of taking a trip, you won't need to today. We have beautiful weather, Alyssa.
Yes, and depending on where you are, it's going to stay that way for the entire day. We do have just a small chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm or shower. That's mainly going to be around some of those northern counties. Most of us are going to continue to see mostly sunny, hot, and humid conditions today. This is just the start of these temperatures building as well. As we head into the weekend, we are going to hit the 90s, and we're going to see pretty nice conditions for the weekend. Just some chances of an isolated shower or two on Sunday. But we're going to continue this pattern today, tomorrow, and Friday, where we see just a small chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. Right now, we have clear skies, 67 degrees to start out here in Indianapolis. So a warm start to your day, and that humidity is going to continue to build this morning. So as you step outside this morning, it might be a little bit sticky, and then we'll see that come down a little bit as we head into the afternoon. Winds fairly light out of the southwest, about 7 miles per hour. So right now, very quiet on the radar, not a lot going on. We had a disturbance move through last night that brought a few showers, but for the most part, we stayed dry, and we're going to continue to stay dry for many locations today. We have high pressure in control, and that's going to stay that way today and into the weekend. We are going to see just an upper level disturbance move through this afternoon and evening, and what that's going to do is going to bring a little bit more cloud coverage for us locally here in central Indiana, and then we are going to see just that chance of an isolated shower or two and possibly some thunderstorms. So here we are this morning, mostly clear skies, those temperatures in the 60s, and then we start to see just a few more clouds build in as we head into the afternoon, and then by the later afternoon hours, as we're hitting that daytime heating in the mid 80s and upper 80s, that's when we start to see that potential for some showers and thunderstorms developing over those northern counties. But you can see on our TrueCast that it's really going to be spotty and isolated in nature, so I wouldn't cancel any plans that you have set up for later today. Just keep an eye on the forecast. Temperatures today will climb into the 80s, and those showers and storms will diminish overnight. But we do have just a small risk, a marginal risk rather, of severe weather. The main threat with that is going to be some damaging winds and small hail as that system moves through. So not a huge risk, but it is there, and I just want you to know about it. Today, for most of us, mostly sunny skies. Those stray storms will mainly be to the north of us. 87 degrees for the high. Thursday, continuing that temperature climb. Again, a small chance of an isolated shower or storm in the afternoon. That continues on Friday as well, and then we're into the 90s for the weekend.
All right, thank you, Alyssa. Here's a look at I-465 at I-69 up on that northeast side. So right now we have a ramp closure as well as some lane restrictions. Let's take a look at the map. I'll point this out to you. So this again is up on that northeast side, southbound I-69 ramp to westbound 465. So to get around it, exit at 82nd Street, turn left to head southbound on Allisonville Road, and then enter onto westbound I-465 via Allisonville Road. Up in Boone County, we also have a ramp closure, northbound I-65 ramp to Whitestown Parkway. And to get around this one, you'll continue northbound on I-65, then exit at State Road 267, head southbound on State Road 267, turn left to return to Whitestown Parkway, continue to your destination from there. Let's take a look at this project right now. Look at a lot of construction activity, and you can again see that there are lane restrictions as well, so keep this in mind if you're a Boone County or Fishers driver.
Elena, thank you. While still problematic, alcohol use among teens is down. A national survey of 8th, 10th, and 12th grade students for the 2018 Monitoring the Future study found that overall alcohol use has dropped in recent years. According to the data, by the end of 12th grade, 59% of students had consumed more than a few sips of alcohol. Just under 43% of 12th graders reported having been drunk at least once in their life. The American Academy of Pediatrics says continuing to send a message to teens about the dangers of drinking alcohol can help the trend continue.
Mexican food chain Chipotle wants to give its employees some extra pay. To be eligible, employees must meet certain criteria and their stores must meet sales and cash flow goals. If those quotas are met, Chipotle will pay employees a bonus each quarter equal to 1 week's pay. Chipotle will average the weekly pay that hourly workers make over the quarter to determine the bonus. The chain already offers its employees free food, tuition reimbursement, and medical insurance. And now I want a burrito, Nicole.
Well, still ahead here on Good Morning Indiana, a Hoosier couple not letting a serious health disorder stop them from celebrating the gift of life and love.
And it's a brand new way to utilize the city's public transportation system. Ahead at 5 o'clock, how these buses are going back to school. But first,
I'm Vinny Politan. Coming up today on Court TV, the prosecution getting ready to wrap their case in Florida versus Scott Nelson. It's a capital case. Scott Nelson accused in the abduction and death of a nanny down in Winter Park, Florida. As the prosecution gets ready to wrap their case, the big question is what happens next? Before the trial started, the defendant wrote a letter to the judge saying he was going to testify at trial. So we will find out today if he follows through in that promise to testify in front of the jury. That's all coming up today, right here on Court TV.
Don't forget, you can watch the all-new Court TV live on your mobile device by visiting CourtTV.com. It's 4:50. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
Weather than anyone else.
From tragedy to thanks, a country singer and his wife turning their loss into a way to help others. Granger and Amber Smith stopped by Dell Children's Medical Center in Austin, Texas to donate more than $200,000 in their son's name. 3-year-old River died last month after an accidental drowning. The toddler was taken to that hospital where he was treated until his death. The Smiths say they are grateful for the support shown to them by doctors and nurses at the hospital. The donation was raised from t-shirt sales through Smith's clothing line.
Philadelphia Flyers mascot Gritty surprising an 8-year-old superfan getting prosthetic legs designed around the mascot. Caden O'Rourke is a patient at Shriners Hospital for Children in Philadelphia. They helped treat his rare orthopedic condition. When Caden told the hospital staff the theme he wanted for his new legs, they worked their magic and got the Philadelphia Flyers mascot to deliver the Gritty-themed prosthetic leg.
He's my favorite mascot because he's crazy and he's a daredevil.
He's probably the strongest 8-year-old like you will ever meet. He walks into a room, he's always smiling. He's always the life of the party, and, you know, he doesn't let anything hold him back.
Oh, he looks like such a joy. He also got a Flyers jersey with his name on it, and Caden's birthday is next week. Happy early birthday, Caden.
Well, here's a sweet story from right here in the Hoosier State. A hospital room at IU Health in Indianapolis transformed into a wedding chapel.
Welcome to the wedding celebration of Anna and Justin.
Anna Gonzalez and Justin Middleton said I do in Anna's hospital room. Anna is living with cystic fibrosis. The couple has been together for 3 years. After a 2-year engagement, they decided late last week to get married. Nurses and social workers helped make it a special day, creating a beautiful wedding gown for Anna, giving her a manicure and fixing her hair. Cystic fibrosis is a rare genetic disorder that damages the lungs and other organs.
Are we all in tears now?
Yeah,
I'm tears.
so
I mean,
sweet.
that's, yeah, beautiful. So congrats to them, and I hope they have a lot of time together. So, all right, let's take a look at the weather now. A beautiful sunshiny day.
Yes, beautiful sunshiny day for many of us. We do have just an isolated chance of some stray showers and storms, mainly for northern counties. 87 degrees for the high today, and then we're going to continue this pattern where we see mostly sunny and nice conditions both Thursday and Friday, but we do have a chance of a spot or stray stray storm in the afternoon. 90s for the weekend.